Hey, this is John here at Virginia International Raceway. We're entering the fall season. One of my favorite times as a chef. Leaves are starting to turn color. As a kid, I would make piles of leaves and jump back into them. At the holidays, it meant I had to sit at the kids' table. I no longer have to sit at the kids' table. So when I was asked to present a recipe, I kind of reflected back on my childhood memories, and I thought about the colors and the flavors and the smells, and came up with the butternut squash ravioli, which we're going to be preparing today. So we're going to start with our dough. This is our fresh pasta dough. We have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour here. A lot of times I like to use semolina at home, which is a lot less refined. And if you do that, if you can find it, I go half of that. So 1 1/8 cup of semolina to the equivalent of the flour. However, with today we're just doing the flour. We're going to do a pinch of salt. So I got the kosher salt, and then we're going to do 4 large eggs. So you're going to make a little in there for your eggs. We're doing this from scratch, the old Italian style way, so we're going to do it with a fork, and we're just going to keep mixing in this until we get a nice stiff dough. And there's really no reason to be shy. Jump right in. We got a nice dough. You don't want to overwork it too much. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap that up in a piece of plastic wrap and let it sweat together. I want to thank Tommy and Wendy Webb for letting us use our pasta machine today. Otherwise, we would have had to hand roll all this out, which is a whole nother cooking episode. So we've got it now on the table here, a little bit of flour. Again, going back, if you're using semolina, you would use semolina here. You just want to cut off a piece about this, make your flat end. And we're going to start all the way open on 10. As you can see, we have a really nice pasta coming out of there. Now we're going to go to about the middle mark, which is right about the 5. Again, you're going to go ahead and start the process, flip it back over. It will feed itself, so you don't want to pull the dough and rip it, so you just kind of walk it through. Now, if you've never worked at home with dough, this would be a good spot to actually just cut your ribbon in half about there. You can split that way. And we flip this back over, because now we're going to go ahead and close it all the way down to the 1, which should give us our really thin dough. And as you can see, we have a really nice thin dough. So what we were doing here, we put our paper down, a little bit of flour. Cut the sheet to fit the paper. Now that we've got our sauce cut in half, we're going to go ahead and put that on a sheet pan, drizzle it with olive oil, salt, and a little pepper. A little bit over face down. Keep the process. Goes in really smooth. Roasted butternut squash. So now that we've got our roasted butternut squash, as you can see, I just really, you can't smell how awesome it is, but it smells really good. So here you're just going to cut off the ends. go ahead and peel. What I usually do is you kind of take your paring knife and just kind of peel it back. Now if you want, you can also pre-peel this, cube it, and then just toss it in oil, salt, pepper, and roast it in cubes. I just like to do the whole squash this way. Alright, we have our squash roasted. I went ahead and peeled it and cubed it up. And you can see it's really nice and tender. So now to make our filling, we're going to go ahead and add that into our food processor. So we made our pasta sheets. You can make these, they will hold in the freezer for about 2 months. And then you can pull them out. You can make them any kind of pasta you want. Fettuccine spaghetti, it's just on how it's cut. If you have the pasta maker, it's got the die set that will make your pastas for what we're doing. So we've got them down in here. We're going to cut them into about 2-inch segments. Our filling that we made earlier. Put this on the one side here. If you don't want to make your dough, you can take wonton wraps, put your filling in, seal it with water, boil them for about 2 to 3 minutes, and it'll work just as well as this. But because it is National Chef's Day and we're making pasta from scratch, so you're just going to fold the pasta over. And you can take a little water and you can moisten the sides that way. But for what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of crimp them with a fork. Doing the pressing, you're trying to push out that air so that you won't have it steam and create a big hole. So we got our ravioli. You put these in the freezer for a little bit. You can lay them out on the sheet pan and freeze them. Again, they'll last for about 2 months. So we got our water. Got some right here. We're going to go ahead and put in our pasta. So while our pasta's cooking, we're going to start our brown butter sauce. We've got our pan on a medium to high heat. I'm going to start off with my cubed butter. I got a half cup of butter. So this will be our brown butter sauce. So you're going to cook this down for about 3 to 4 minutes. It's going to start to get golden brown. It's going to get a nutty flavor and smell. It's going to be really nice. That's what you're looking for with these raviolis. You can see they're starting to float. I've got 2 cloves of minced garlic. I'm going to throw that in there. And I'm doing this early because I don't want my garlic to turn too brown and get bitter while I'm cooking my butter. So I'll start it this way. Right here I've got 2 tablespoons of thyme. Roll it. It's called chiffonade. Keeps the herbs from bruising, and then you're just going to cut it in little ribbons. Put that into your butter. Get that fried cake, get that aromatic going. As Mitchell can tell, you can smell this really good. See our butter starting to bubble. That's what we're looking for. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add our raviolis. We'll add our 1/4 cup of spinach. Now you can do any kind of braised greens, arugula, 8 tomatoes cut in half. Salt. You see the dough starting to cook up a little nice right there. Finish this up. We're just going to put this in the bowl. Candy pecans. And finish it off with a little bit of Parmesan. Butternut squash ravioli and brown butter sauce. Spinach, green tomato.
Give this a bite here.
Alright, here's the results.
Oh, bad cutting job on my part. Oh man. You guys have to try this. Every flavor you can taste in this bowl right now, and definitely seasonal. Highly recommend. It's worth all the tedious work with the dough and preparation, but highly recommend it. Good job, Chef John.
Thank you.
Thank you.